90 Day. The Last Resort star Rob Warren needs help from fans as his son faces a heartbreaking life and death situation. Rob from Los Angeles was first seen in 90 Day Fiance Season 10. Rob had cheated on his British partner Sophie before she came to the US on a K-1 visa. Sophie should have quit the relationship after the betrayal, but she kept giving Rob multiple chances and even married him as more online cheating evidence kept surfacing about Rob. Sophie walked out in happily ever after, but The Last Resort offered them a chance to patch up. Rob started getting a bad rap from viewers for his treatment of Sophie, but somehow, Sophie's acting childish did not work in her favor either. Rob couldn't get rid of his questionable past, despite his claims he had changed and brushed up his act. Sophie was always around to keep reminding viewers of what he had done. Rob has been turning to fans now so they can forgive him. After all, there are rumors that Rob had filmed a new 90-day house-themed show where he's found love with a co-star. Rob comes across as an emotional person on the show. He wears his heart on his sleeve and isn't afraid of speaking his mind when he needs something, even if it is attention from his wife. Rob yearned to get Sophie to come back to him on 90 Day Fiancé, happily ever after, and seemed to have given up on The Last Resort. However, Rob does have someone who stayed by his side through thick and thin and who he won't have to beg for attention from. Rob is very attached to his dog Rome, who's more than a son. In January 2024, Rob shared a clip featuring his dog Rome. He wrote that his old boy needed extra care and hence, they were back at the vet. Rob added that he needed prayers from fans so that the tests went well. Fans prayed for Rome to feel better. They'd known Rome since his own 90 Day Fiancé Season 10 debut with Rob and Sophie. Rome went with the couple to Houston when the couple moved there and happily ever after, with Rob's pet tarantula collection. However, Rob's dog did not make any appearances this time around. Rob had explained that Rome had to be moved to a different room in the house while they were filming. Rome got stressed out because there were many people in the house. Rob found out that Rome has lymphoma after the tests via 90 Day Fiancé update. There was a lesion, a growth on Rome's lips, but additional tests were required to confirm if Rome's condition was epitheliotropic lymphoma, a kind of skin cancer in dogs. Rome is an elderly dog, and Rob explained that T-cell lymphoma typically occurs in 8 to 10-year-olds. Rome seemingly has anything between 8 months to 1.5 years to live. Even though there have been reports that Rob and Sophie have parted ways for good, Sophie has not officially confirmed their breakup on social media. Instead, Sophie talks in riddles and recently made some shocking allegations against her husband. 90 Day Fiance_Alexa has shared screenshots of comments left by Sophie on her page, telling fans that allegedly Rob was abusive when they asked her why she always blamed Rob for their issues. "Keep supporting a narcissistic abuser," she said, and told a different follower that allegedly Rob was abusive, but it was not shown on TV. Sophie insisted that she always had a green card and didn't need to be with Rob for it. She claims she has evidence for her claims. However, Sophie does have some fans convinced that Rob's good guy stance is an act for the cameras. He realized how bad he looked in Season 10 for his cheating scandals, or for him berating Sophie for asking for a bathroom or a quilt and switched his act. Rob made it look like he wanted to save their relationship, but he also looked hot-headed. Unfortunately, Sophie can't talk details because of her NDA. Sophie always seemed to be 1 foot in and 1 foot out when it came to deciding if she wanted to stay with Rob or move on. That could be why there have been no news reports that Rob and Sophie are married. They could have stayed together to give their marriage yet another chance after The Last Resort. Sophie claims she isn't with Rob for the green card, but she did previously admit on Happily Ever After that she wasn't going to let go of him because it would mean she'd have to leave her new life in America behind. However, Sophie has become more mature in the past year because she has plans to move to London in the future. Sophie recently did a TikTok live where she said she would feel like going back to her hometown if she was to have kids. She believes it would be cost-effective to raise children there because there is free healthcare in London, and she feels like it would generally be a more benefiting living situation for her as a mother. Sophie's response hinted at her being single. She isn't tied down to a life with Rob in the US anymore. Amid the he said, she said scenario, Rob is still trying to defend himself on social media. Sophie and Rob continued pointing fingers at each other. Rob has now been defending himself against the emotional abuse allegations but claims that he is unable to do so because Sophie led him on and made him feel walked on and used. He is accusing Sophie of ganging up against him so she could slander and laugh at him with her fans who support her. However, Rob has found a way to get positive attention from fans. Rob's pet is facing a life-threatening situation, but it has worked in Rob's favor. It serves as a distraction from his current storyline with Sophie on 90 Day, The Last Resort. Rob will let them know of the costs of the additional tests required for Rome. It appears he expects his fans to fund the bills. Rob has already touched hearts with his vulnerable post, and it doesn't look like it's from someone who lacks emotions, as Sophie claims. Only time will tell which side fans will eventually pick, but for now, Rob seems to be the one who fans trust.